always with someone showing me how.
Cool, that's cool. I have a little experience. I did it a lot more when I was a kid, but I've been folding.
All right.
And I think a lot of people know that paper is kind of my medium. I don't really work in other media when it comes to arts and crafts. These projects are 3 different levels of difficulty. So we're going to start with the first one, which is the cat. And you're going to use a piece of paper that is the same color on both sides. It's probably one of the bigger pieces in your envelope.
And we want to make our folds really crisp, right?
Yes, absolutely. And that can sometimes be hard with diagonals.
Yes.
So you kind of want to watch that you're going to the corner. Not just that the corner matches up, but that the edges match up. And something I like to do, but it's totally up to you, is I like to use my thumbnail as like a bone folder to go over the crease.
Okay.
Yeah. You can use a real bone folder if you have one, or you can use the pad of your finger. That works too.
You have instructions in your kit to guide you when making all of these models. We're going to start with the cat. You want to place your paper like a diamond. Fold the bottom corner to the top corner and make a crease at the bottom. Now act like you're going to fold it in half, but don't make the fold, just make a small crease right at the bottom and unfold it. Now what we're going to do is fold up each side.
Are these going to be our ears?
These are the ears of the cat.
Oh, I love them.
Now right to the top, but at an angle. You want to try to make both of these folds symmetrical, and the crease you made at the center is there to guide you. Now you're going to fold up the corner at the bottom. This is going to make the cat's chin. You can fold it up as much as you like. Now we're going to flip it over. Then fold down the corner at the top to make the top of the cat's head. Again, you can fold this where you think it looks good with the flaps you have folded to be the ears. Then we're going to flip it upside down. Fold that same corner backwards, and you might have to lift the flaps that are the ears in order to hide the fold. There it is. Now we're going to fold in the sides to make the sides of the cat's face. Just bring in that corner as far as you think you want it to go. Again, you can judge this based on the size of your ears and how you folded the other flaps. Now flip it over, draw a face, and your cat is complete.
Oh my gosh. So what's next, Laura?
Next is the fox box.
Ooh.
And I got the pattern from an artist and origami doer who I follow online called Paper Kawaii. This is an example of modular origami, which if you do a bunch of it, you'll learn is one of the many techniques. And it's modular because you make a bunch of pieces, usually that look the same, and then you put them together. So now for this one, you're going to need the 3 pieces in your kit that are white on the back. And they should all be 3 different colors. I tried really hard to make sure that everyone got 3 different colors.
Here are the instructions for the fox box. Grab your 3 pieces of paper that are colored on one side and white on the back. Go ahead and put the colored side down, the white side up. Fold the bottom corner up to the top. This is just how we started the cat. Now go ahead and fold it over in half. Unlike the cat, we're actually going to make the full crease here. All the way up to the top and unfold it. And now we're going to fold the corners up to the top. Unlike the cat, you want to match up the points and the edges. You're going to fold those points right to the top point, making a square. Now you're going to do that with your other 2 pieces. Next, you're going to unfold those flaps that you made and then fold it back into a triangle. Do this with the other two pieces as well. This happens a lot in origami, where if you're undoing something, that means you're making a crease that you're going to use later in the project. Now let's get acquainted with each piece. You'll see it has a V shape on one side and 2 points on the end. You're going to take 2 of your pieces and you're going to take one of them with the point end and stick it into another on the V end. Play around with it. Slide the pieces together in whatever way is comfortable for you. When you put them together, you'll notice that the edges and the folds line up. You can gently move the paper around so that the folds and lines match up. And if you do flatten it during this time to improve the folds, you can always pop it back into a 3-dimensional shape.
Put them together.
Now you're going to put the points of one of your pieces into the V side of the last remaining shape. It's the same as before. Put the points in and slide it together. This sometimes takes a few tries, and you can go back and forth between making the shape flat and making it 3-dimensional. Then you'll take the final 2 points and put it into the V side of the first piece.
And this is one where it can really help to make sure that you're holding it in a 3-dimensional shape instead of flat. Because that's where it wants to go by the end anyway. It wants to be 3-dimensional.
Be gentle, but experiment with it. You can kind of play with it in your hands to get the pieces to fall into place. And you can kind of shake the corners to make it look finished.
Box. Are you ready for our third project?
I am.
So this is an envelope box, and the pattern also comes from paper kawaii.
Okay.
And it should be the last piece you've got, but it should be the same color on both sides. And in this project, the creasing or the pre-folding is very important.
Okay.
So if it seems like you're folding and unfolding, there's a reason.
And we want to still make sure all our folds are super sharp and
This one
creased.
in particular, you want to make sure you've got very crisp folds. If you haven't been using a bone folder or your thumb before now for this project, you might want to try.
Laura, what is a bone folder?
Oh my gosh. A bone folder is like a plastic thingy
Okay.
that you can use to fold stuff.
All right.
I think they used to be pretty common when people wrote a lot of letters.
Oh.
They would use them to...
I've seen these. I didn't know they had a name.
We actually have some. I'm going to grab one. We took a 10-minute break to find bone folders.
We found them.
Yes. So I think a lot of people might be more familiar with one that's more like a just a piece of plastic. Because I think those are more common in like office type settings.
Mm-hmm.
That's in fact why we have a bunch of them around here at the library. They're used in book processing to like adhere tape and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say this is a more traditional shape for a bone folder.
This one looks more like a bone shape. Did they used to be made out of bone?
They did.
Right.
Start with your paper that is the same color on both sides. Go ahead and fold the bottom corner to the top corner and make a crease. And then unfold it. Do the same thing in the other direction. You'll pretty much be making an X shape in the middle of your square. Once you've done this, you'll see you've now given yourself a guide to the center point. You're going to fold each of the 4 corners into the center point. Now that you have this shape, you're going to want to orient it like a square for the rest of the project. Now here, you want to take your edges and fold them into the center. Just like that. Then you'll unfold it and do that in the other direction.
I can see we're getting a lot of different crease lines.
Oh yeah, it's gonna make the rest of the project much easier.
I bet.
And you'll see you have 4 flaps here, top and bottom, side and side. You're going to unfold the top and the bottom flap. Then you'll fold in the little triangle that's been made at the bottom, and then fold that same side back into the center. Do this to the top and the bottom.
And before we move on, I just kind of want to show you, you can see we folded a grid into the paper.
Yes.
Now you'll unfold the right and the left side. We've basically made a 4x4 grid. These lines will provide a guide as you finish the project. Fold it over at this line here so that the point of the one side goes to the edge of the square on the other.
So here's where I'm going to use the actual name of the fold. It's called a squash fold.
I love it.
Yes.
Gently use your hands to lift the bottom corner. You're going to want to see what the paper wants to do because it's pretty much just going to want to open up into a squash fold. You open up that corner and then flatten it down. Do the same to the top. Squash fold. Now you've got a little flap left over in the middle. Fold that back over and crease it. Now we're going to do the same thing to the other side, but it looks different because we've already folded the right side. So go ahead and fold that all the way over. Gently lift your corners to create squash folds. Just be gentle and patient, take your time, but it's where the paper wants to go. So just give it a little help in getting there. And now you've created another flap. Fold that back over and crease it.
So now you've got 2 little flaps.
Yes.
And this is another one where it's just what it wants to do. It wants to become a box. So when you pull, it kind of turns into a box. The sides will come up.
Okay, that's really cool.
Yep.
Pull gently and your shape will turn into a box. You can use your hands to help bring up the sides. What we're going to do now is press together the center of the box. We're going to squish it down and fold it into place. If you can't really tell what's happening, you're taking those diagonal folds that already exist, you're reversing them, and you're folding them flat. There you go. Go all the way down and flatten it. It still wants to pop open into a box. We just reverse the direction. Now we just need to finish the flaps. go ahead and open it up on one side, fold in the triangle, and then fold in each of the corners to the center of that square. And then fold it back. We're basically taking the triangle that already exists and making it a little bit smaller. Fold that flat back and crease. And that is your envelope box.
And so it's the perfect thing to put in like a tiny little note and maybe like a tiny little trinket or like a couple little M&Ms. And you close the box and put like a sticker or some washi tape on it.
Yeah.
And then it's like a surprise envelope.
Oh, I love it.
Nice.
And I'm really happy with it.
So if you're ever confused at any point, Paper Kawaii has great video tutorials on their website. I think they do a really good job. So if you just want to see someone else's hands doing it, someone who's a little bit more of a pro, I put the URLs in your packets.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging out with us while we made origami. Did you have fun?
I had fun, didn't
I
you?
had fun too. Yeah.
Excellent.
So don't forget to join us next month when we'll have another project for you.
It's going to be really fun.
Yeah. And if you happen to watch this video before you picked up your Curbside kit, call the library and get your Curbside kit.
It'll be waiting for you.